All right, welcome back to the party, guys. What is good? What is going on? I just saw Am I Racist? And wow, I did not expect it to be that good. And I went in with super high hopes, and they were matched and exceeded. But it's not What Is a Woman? It's a different kind of movie. So I definitely think that it's, especially if you pay attention to content like Matt Walsh, Daily Wire, Tim Pool, Steven Crowder, any of these type of people, you're not unfamiliar with like the whole anti-racist and systemically racist, all that kind of stuff. You're familiar with that, and you're familiar with how it doesn't really make sense, but they somehow make it make sense. And it's just so good in the same way. So again, it was not it was not What Is a Woman, but in the same way that What Is a Woman really just hit the nail on the head with this gender stuff. I think Am I Racist did exactly that with or Matt did this with Am I Racist? And so this is gonna be spoiler free. So I mean, again, it's a documentary, so there's not a lot of twists and turns. You kind of get what you're going to get, but I won't spoil anything. But I do want to go through why I think that you should absolutely go and see this in theaters. This is the type of thing that we want to spend our money on. This is the type of thing that we want to show society that we will spend money on it. It's just again, just the nail on the head. So I mean, it kind of starts out in a similar way to What Is a Woman, where it's like, oh, this random question, and it's kind of funny. He's at a diner getting coffee, and it's a black waitress, and she's like, how do you like your coffee? And it's like, dun dun dun. Am I supposed to say black or not? It's got that kind of tone. And so he was, saying like, oh, I feel weird about this. And am I racist? What is racism? Blah, blah, blah. So then he goes on this journey to become an anti-racist. And in the process, he does such a good job of using his deadpan approach and legitimately, talking about the things that are in these books and that are discussed with these people and using their own ideology against them. And it just does so well. Shout out to Nick Luchetti. Welcome to the party. Good to see ya. We also got Zippy DSM Lee. Welcome. Said, yes, I am racist. The woke made me see color. I mean, I still don't care. Just see more mockery of minorities from the woke. Yeah, I agree. I think I've mentioned this before, that I think since wokeness has been around, I've thought a lot more about race and other people's race and stuff, because they are constantly throwing it in your face. And I mean, that's really the point. Is that it's a grift. It's all about how can we make white people feel like they have to give me money so that they can offset some of their racism. Yeah, man, it was really good. And it's just, especially, this isn't a spoiler. Everybody, if you've seen the trailer, you know that he actually sits down and gets an interview with Robin DiAngelo of White Fragility. I'll show you a picture if you're not familiar with that. But and she's like, what did she say? She's like, what was your name again? Like, oh, okay, just gotta be sure, because you never know. You never know who you're talking to. And it's like, yeah, exactly. So this, yeah, if you've seen this before, of course they have it tiny on this thing, but if you've seen that before, that's the book White Fragility, Why It's So Hard for White People to Talk About Racism, by Robin DiAngelo. And he actually gets a sit down with her and gets her to act like, hey, your work in anti-racism is weird. You're sitting down with me. I'm there was another author. They put a quote that was essentially saying that Robin DiAngelo was the new racial sheriff in town or something along those lines. And even she was at a point where, and again, you can see this in the trailer, but I won't say it. So if you know the part I'm talking about, then you know it. But if you don't, then you just see it in the movie. It's just so refreshing to be able to articulate why these ideas may seem like, okay, there's something here if I'm willing to mind and let go of prejudices that I might have or anything like that, when they are preying on that. And so then the standard becomes, you are racist. That's a given. Now, what are you going to do about it? And that's the grift. That's the grift. They have like a race to dinner where, a black woman and an Indian woman hold a dinner for only white women and just tell them how racist they are. And there's no solution. It's just like, you have to feel bad. That's why white fragility and white guilt, that's why these words are so common with this stuff. Zibby says, moral juxtaposition to make you feel bad for being different. Neoliberalism in a nutshell, which makes it racist and sexist by default. It's amazing, their leaps of logic. And it's, yeah, absolutely. But it's not only that. It's not only that. It's the lip service. It's the lip service. The degree to which people are willing to say things that that is meant to signal to other people that, hey, I'm one of the good ones, when they're not. But we'll put that aside for a second. So they want to signal to everyone. But when it comes to actually doing the work, then they don't want to do anything. They don't want to do anything. Nick said it's crazy, isn't it? Feels like they're trying to decide us, to desegregate us by ethnicity, but calling it race, because they don't want us to remember that the only race that matters is the human race. Welcome. Well, yeah, you got it. Shout out to DiAngelo Lizard. Said, you are an idiot, not a racist, only racist by being retarded. Good sentence. Yeah, divide. Yeah, they want to divide us by ethnicity, but calling it race. And that's exactly the point. And it's so good to just see the people like Robin DiAngelo and the others who are charging ungodly amounts of money for you to go to their seminar or workshop or whatever. And again, it's just, you sit in a circle with other white people and then you talk about, one time I was accidentally racist. See, that means that I'm unsafe in your presence and you should be so ready to give reparations and this and that and that. It's like, yo, relax. But the other part of it, again, is that it's not just that these people are all talk and no walk. It's not just that they're saying these things that they don't actually believe them enough to actually do it. It's the fact that they project so hard onto everybody. They're like, well, we all have racist thoughts, like when we go down when we're driving down the street and there's a black man walking down and you lock the car, we all do that. It's like, no, I don't do. I mean, like, yeah, maybe I've been in a bad neighborhood, but that's because of the neighborhood, not because the guy was black. And again, just over and over and over, you see instances of being, we all do this, we all think about that, we all think this way. It's natural to think that every white person does this. And it's like, I don't think that's the case. And of course, then Matt goes into some local what would be considered racist communities and talk to people, and of course they're all just like, yeah, just treat people like people. Exactly what Nick was saying. We're all humans. We're all human race. You got to go with love, all that kind of stuff. And they're like, obviously, I'm sure you could find instances of racism anywhere in America. That is not the point to say that racism doesn't exist. But these people make, and one of them cost, I think it was $50,000. There was definitely one that was $5,000. Don't quote me on the 50,000. I'm going to see it tomorrow morning with Papa Lutch. So again, I'm gonna have some more things. Like there was the website that Matt Walsh went to for his own DEI training, and I wanted to see if I could get on that site and whatever, but I couldn't catch it. Zippy says moral grift is nothing new. Lots of anti-fiction peeps on Twitter. Your fiction dehumanizes people or harms minors. You're a PDF. Good God, it's fiction, you silly puritanical cultists. Well, I mean, yeah, but here with Am I Racist and Robin DiAngelo, we're not talking about fiction. We are literally talking about people paying their hard-earned money to go and be told you're a bad person and there's nothing you can do about it, even if you try. Like, okay, then what? Then why should I care about this? If I can't change anything, why should I care about this? Shout out to Matthew King. Welcome to the party. So they honestly assume everyone thinks the same as them. So obviously we're all racist. Yeah, and it's so obvious. It's so obvious that it's like, have you ever seen like there has like a moment on a podcast? Shout out to Logan. Welcome to the party. So there are differences between the races in the same way there are differences between breeds of dogs. Sure, yeah, that's a very good example. But yeah, Matthew's saying they think we think the same as them. But again, it's like when you have somebody who, like, what's the a great example. There's a bunch of videos going around about how people in correct you. That is exactly the message of the movie. That is why you should go see it. Exactly. Hugh is on board, and you should be too. But so there's a trend on TikTok going around where apparently in England they don't actually wash their dishes. They have they fill the sink up with soapy water and just kind of do that and then put it right in the drying rack. And so that's weird, right? But let's say you lived in England all your life and you come over and you're helping, you got an American girlfriend or whatever, you go to Thanksgiving and you're helping doing the dishes. You would just normally do the dishes in the same way that you always do the dishes, by putting it in the soap and then putting it in the rack. And then when somebody from America is like, wait, whoa, you're not going to rinse those? And you're like, wait, what? I thought you didn't rinse them. What do you mean? It's like, well, see, you're the weird one. And so when people like Robin DiAngelo and Ibram X. Kendi are saying these things, it's like, oh, it's you. It's you. You are the problem. And so the white guilt actually does make sense because they have all this racial thoughts in their minds. And the fragility, they are fragile because they know they're racist. They know that they're racist. They just assume that just because they are, that everybody else is. Zippy said, my point is the moral gymnastics to preach from a high ground so they can feel better about not being better is the same. Exactly. Like, I want to feel bad for like the people who engage in this stuff, like the people who pay, the people who pay for the seminars, paying thousands of dollars to go sit in a room or go take a course or whatever, just to be told you're racist and there's nothing you can do about it. I kind of want to feel bad for them, but at the same time, it's like, where's your critical thinking skills? Why is this not something that you're like, hey, wait a minute? And to be fair, again, try to stay away from spoilers, but the end of the movie is kind of a culmination of everything that happened in the movie and put some white people in uncomfortable positions. And to be fair, some of them are like, no, I'm done. I'm not doing this. This is OD. But so many of them were literally ready to whip themselves. They were literally ready to take a physical whip or like a frat paddle and hit themselves. Not because they were racist, but because they were simply white. By being white, you deserve this. And again, it's not, if you pay attention to this space, it's not going to be just like, self-flagellation. So again, if I'm comparing it to What is a Woman, then I think that one had a lot more science in terms of, well, these are actually the numbers, and this is how much these surgeries cost, and stuff like that. Whereas with racism, it's a little bit different. It's a lot more broad of a category, and so it really is just hitting at the core of the issue with the issue. Meaning the reason why this anti-racist, systemic racist, why that does not match reality. It simply does not match reality. And I've said this a million times, and I will continue to say it, that I'm not white. I get that there are experiences that I have as a brown dude that if you're white, you'll never understand. Cool, great. But I also don't need you to make me feel some way about that. Because there are situations that you've been in as a white man that I can, it goes both ways. But those are different experiences. I can definitely understand why, especially if you've been downloaded with all this racist propaganda, that you would feel like you need that, the victim mentality, that you need America and white people to come back and give you what you deserve, your reparations. But it's so counterintuitive. It's so counterintuitive because everything that you do it leads back to racism. They've created it such that you cannot win. And when you have a system where you cannot win, and by win, I just mean accomplish the goal of not being racist, then there ain't nothing you can do. Shout out to Karate Chris. Welcome to the party. That's me. Good to see you. Good to see you. We also got our boy Guam Tech. Welcome. So just white enough to be racist, not white enough for the privilege. Yep, I'm a little bit darker than you, so I think I don't think I'm white enough to be racist, but definitely not white enough for the privilege. They'll still call me racist though. Because, see, it doesn't need to make sense. It just needs to be convenient. Did I miss something? Christianity had a sect that hurt themselves in the name of the Lord. Flagellants. The woke cannot create. It can only corrupt. Yeah, the first time I ever saw that was the Da Vinci Code. When Paul Bettany played that monk dude. And I was like, I remember even then, because I don't remember what year Da Vinci Code came out, but I was absolutely still fully Christian then. And even that, I was, shout out to One True Villain Top G over on Twitch. Indeed, this is live. Morty, come here. Welcome to the party. We also got our boy, Funk Master General. Morty, come get a treat. That's right. Every single donation comes with a treat for Morty. That's right. Come on. Come here. Come on. He's under the bed eating garbage. There's a paper towel. Come on, Morty. Look, come get a treat. There you go. Come on. There you go. A treat for Morty. Thank you so very much to Funk Master General. Unfortunately, we were we'll get more. We were supposed to go see this together. There was a movie theater not too far from here that was kind of midway. Didn't work out, but we will definitely make it happen. Welcome to the party. Let me update the banner here. Of course, we've got a new sponsor of the stream, Funk Master General. Thank you so very much, sir. Yeah, and again, I'm going to see this with Papa Watch again tomorrow morning, and I can't wait because there's a lot of things that I would like to have a second look at, and it's not the kind of thing where I could pause and stuff like we would normally do. So I kind of just have to remember stuff. And so since I knew that I was going to get to see it twice. This time I was more just kind of trying to enjoy it, and then I'll have more discussion points after I see it again tomorrow. But I want to come out here and tell you guys that it does exactly what it is supposed to do. It does exactly what it's supposed to do. And by that, it means it demonstrates, hey, look, this idea doesn't make sense. Shout out to Daddy Waffles. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the party. And racism isn't perpetrated by only whites, I agree. But that is where the anti-racists definitely would disagree with you. And they would say that actually, yes, it is only white people because racism is prejudice plus power, and black people have no power. Therefore, if you're being anti-white, you're not being racist because you don't have power. That's the systemic system racist that, like, it doesn't make sense. And it's gone on for so long, them being able to build up this false house of cards of logic of why it makes sense. Oh yeah, all people are racist. All white people are bad. All white people are oppressors. All this stuff. They've done it for so long, and then Matt Walsh just goes in and just right on the bullseye, hits the nail on the head of this does not make sense. He makes Robin DiAngelo the racial sheriff. He makes her say, their whole thing is like, do the work. You can't win, but you constantly got to do the work. I agree with you, Daddy Waffles. That is why you should go see this movie. It is great. It is great, and it's definitely hilarious, but it's not about entertaining as much as it is about the message, even though, again, it is hilarious. It's not about dunking on anyone as much as it is about demonstrating that, hey, your ideas do not make sense. Or at the very best, maybe they make sense, but they're antithetical to improving the race relations in America. Yep, Nina Sarkeesian, everything is sexist, everything is racist because I need money. And that is a significant part of the film of how much money is in this. And I did not realize, obviously it's a grift. But I didn't quite realize, like, oh, it's like that. Maybe I should become a DEI certified guy and start running some workshops. Because white people will pay out that. White liberals, I would say. I don't know how many right-leaning people you're getting in these workshops. But I really love how well it was put together. And again, if you've seen What Is a Woman, then you see how, like, it's individual interviews, but there's, a story being woven. This one, I'd say the story itself is stronger, and because of the weight of racism, race relations, all that stuff, because it is so effective, it's so satisfying. It's so satisfying to just be watching that in general, and then to be able to see it on the big screen. It's great. And this was what was the time? 4:45 on a Saturday. So not a lot of people in the theater. Small movie anyway. So we, it was kind of like a little club, and we were like all laughing at stuff. And they showed something about Trump, everybody was cheering, and they showed some other stuff that's like kind of in the weeds about this anti-racist stuff, and people were all about it. If you guys have any questions about what is in it, like what would make you decide either to go see it if you don't think you're going to see it, or to not see it if you were going to go see it, or if you're not sure, like what would it take for you to be convinced that this is worth your money? That's really what I want to know from you guys. Matthew said, I believe them a little more if they were spreading the message for free, which they definitely could do. But they don't. There's too much money in it. And I don't have any issue with people making money for work. Like, regardless of how stupid the ideas are, it is work to write a book. It is work to go and have to do performances and stuff like that. I have no problem with these people making money for doing their work. It's the content of what it is. There's nothing wrong with a seminar. There's nothing wrong with a workshop. There's something wrong with those workshops. Nick said, that's what we need. Do you think that people who really need to hear this message will be willing to listen to Matt? Or because it's him, they will just say he's racist? Great question. This one I'm not sure about. This is going to be top of mind when I go back and see it tomorrow morning. Top of mind is going to be how receptive are people going to be? And as of right now, I do think that people are going to be receptive. Unlike the trans stuff, where if you're, just a normie, then the trans stuff is only, number one, it's like way out there. And then number two, it's like, well, why would you have a problem with that? That's the natural, normal, default liberal position. And so that, I think, was a bigger hurdle. And the fact that people are still asking, what is a woman? Now, again, am I racist is not the same thing where you can use that question as a literal conversation stopper. But I don't know. I don't know. It's going to be tough. But again, I think that people are sick of the degree of racism, even if they're not, outwardly open about it. People are sick of the constant focus on race. So I think if we get some maybe not so political people or some more moderately political people to be like, hey, this was actually, good work. You don't have to like Matt Walsh, and you could have this issue then, but it's worth seeing. And I do think it is. I do think it is. Lizard. I'm gonna call it. I don't know what DE-ing. But Lizard says, maybe you should become president and grift money for your own company while pretending to drain the swamp. Maybe. Actually, no, I would never run for president. Yeah, exactly. I mean, Marxism is hard work. It is hard work. Quantag says, did you notice any of the theater workers giving you the side eye going into the movie? Nah, but I don't really pay attention to that stuff. I wouldn't really care. And then there was, I just go up, I went to the kiosk, I printed out the ticket, and then I just gave it to him. And it was some nerdy dude. So, like, I don't know, like, even little old me, I don't know. He seemed like the type of dude where, like, I don't know, he would even have the balls to step to me. Like, oh, like, I don't even know if he would be comfortable doing that. But I don't care. That's the I'm trying to think as I was coming out of the theater, because it's not like it's some theaters, they have like the name of the movie, kind of on like you remember those old school like scrolling things where it's like just a bunch of LEDs and they have, but this one didn't have it, so I don't really know. I don't really know if people would. I'm sure people would. But we'll see, because tomorrow is going to be a Sunday morning right after church. Obviously, I'm not going to church. My dad's going to church. And we'll see if that's any different. Shout out to Private Harumi. Welcome to the party. I am a ... Indian. Thank you very much. Come again, please. Welcome to the party. Matthew said there's a larger number of Redditors that have that exact mindset. Walsh is a racist trans sub, so the movie must be shit. Yep, that's what a lot of people think, and that's why I'm happy. That's why I'm happy that it wasn't like Lady Ballers, where it was trying to dunk on the libs, right? Hey, greetings from Luxembourg. Luxembourg, is that Germany? Luxembourg or Belgium? No. I'm so American. Cheers from Luxembourg. Good to see you. Love to have the international crowd. Shout out to B Young. Welcome. Said Matt Walsh is the man. Yep, he did it again, guys. He did it again. He hits the nail on the head. You're not going to be able to use Am I Racist as the showstopper, like What is a Woman? But the movie itself does what it's supposed to do. Welcome to the party. Nick said, I feel like I rarely see people being racist, but I regularly see people from every background who are not racist and tired of seeing people being called racist. Yes, exactly. This is why I think that at least comparatively, if we compare how willing are people going to be to see what is a woman versus versus am I racist? Am I racist is going to be much more palatable because there's not so much taboo in discussing these things, even though there is, especially if you are white. Okay, it's its own country. Okay, yikes! I failed geography, but cheers to the country of Luxembourg. I knew it was in that general area, though. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Contact said your weight privilege is showing. Lizard said Biden and Harris are pieces of shit. But do you realize Trump is a fucking asshole that has no idea what he's talking about? Sometimes, yeah. And still, the rational mind brings us to, well, he's the better option. That is my argument for Donald Trump. B. Young said, bro, you're a breath of fresh air. I said, shit, you too. Cheers, brother. Getting a little tipsy tips again. If anybody wants to sponsor me, any alcohol brand wants to sponsor me, you'll have your name right here every time. And you guys see us sip all day. What you mean now? You've been racist, motherfucker. You've been racist. I kid. Yeah, and so if you're just joining us, spoiler free review of Am I Racist? It is I think it is okay to think about it if you go in with the mindset of this is a Daily Wire movie. If you have seen What is a Woman, if you have seen Lady Ballers, then you will enjoy this film, but it's not either of those films. So What is a Woman was much more focused on that particular question. And so that's why, again, we can still, 2 years later, they don't have an answer to that particular question. So the Am I Racist question in the title is not exactly the same thing as like, well, then you now throw that question out and the other person doesn't have a way to respond. It's more just exploring, going on the journey. And when these people talk about, going on a journey and doing the work and deconstructing their whiteness, it's like, what exactly do you mean? What exactly are we saying here? And wait, you want to come over here, bud? Come here. Oh, he's joining the party. There he is. Look how freaking cute he is. Look how freaking cute. Oh, he's bashful. He's bashful. You bashful, dude. I'm again very, very, very impressed with how Matt Walsh and the Daily Wire crew was able to pull this off. From getting on local news events. Thank you. From getting onto local news channels to holding seminars to attending seminars. I cannot imagine how much time. Like I would love to know when this was starting to, like, when did they start work on this? It had to have been years ago. And just how much time, money, effort went into this. And then now I can't wait to hear Matt Walsh talk about it, just for the fact that he's been doing this and hasn't been able to talk about it. Lizard said, I can agree with you thinking Trump is the better option. I still think you got a shit show of an election. I don't think anybody's going to disagree with you there, buddy. I do not think anybody is going to disagree with you there. But I still, I did not vote. But this is going to be my first time voting for Trump. So I'm not abashed about that. What was I just saying? So yeah, the structure of the movie is good in the sense that, again, it's segmented into, like, there's this part and, like, okay, what is this part and this part, but there's a through line. And so even if you, let's say you don't end up Of course, Morty sits on the mouse. It wouldn't be Morty if he didn't mess up the stream. Yeah, if you were, I forgot what I was going to say. Hey, what was I gonna say? I am blanking hard. Somebody remind me. What's the last thing I just said? Oh, I think it's just the story. Yeah, the idea that so Lady Ballers is, you know, a feature film where it's like the story is the point. There's also the aspect of, you know, making fun of people, where the Lady Ballers was more of like, haha, look how silly they are. It was like that on the, but it was pretty on the nose. Am I Racist does this much more subtly, and so it does bring up the legitimate conversations. Like there's not really a joking aspect to the actual conversations. Like, it's a joke to us because we see how ridiculous it is from the outside. But for Matt and whoever it is talking, like, he goes to a bookstore and is asking about anti-racist literature, then, like, that is not, he's not making a joke of that. He's legitimately trying to do the thing. Private Hamarami said, do you think in the next 150 years there's going to be a non-Democrat or Republican president? Good question. So 150 years, yes, I think there would be. I think either there would be or America is destroyed. The reason I say that is because the two-party system just ain't working. And I think it's going further and further and further and further and further down that road. Third-party candidates are getting more and more and more and more legitimacy. You know, we had Ralph Nader, fucking Ross Perot. But that was more of an anomaly, where I think going forward after this election, I think, you know, the third-party candidates are going to be a lot more relevant. Maybe, you know, in the next 10, 20, 30, 50 years, we're not going to get a legitimate third-party candidate. But I think as, you know, we see the RFKs of the world, you know, I mean, even going back to Gary Johnson, if he didn't have that, well, what is Aleppo moment? You know, he was a pretty good candidate. I think the desire for something outside of that two-party system is definitely going to occur. I hope so. Shout out to Rachel. Welcome to the partisan. I'm an independent, and I can't wait to watch the Matt Walsh movie. Awesome. And that is why I'm so satisfied and happy with the movie, because it's not going in trying to be like, see, we were right about this and you were wrong about this. It is a genuine, again, it's funny to us on the outside, but Matt takes this very seriously. Like, okay, I'm going to do the work. I'm going to do the work. And when you legitimately do the work and it still ends up being silly, then you can see, oh, this is stupid. Welcome to the party, Rachel. Matthew said that's the best part. I feel like he was really looking for a reason behind the insanity with an open mind. I agree. Yeah, definitely. Shout out to James Quinn. Welcome to the party. The third-party candidates have much less influence than they used to. Interesting. So James, when you say used to, what kind of time period are we talking about? Because that sound, yeah, I'm 34. I wasn't even really paying attention to politics until 2015. So, James, a question to you: if you're saying third-party candidates have much less influence now than they used to, would you agree with me that trend is starting to turn? That that maybe 3 elections ago, the third-party candidate relevancy, well, 3 elections was Ross Perot, but no, right? No, yeah, okay. So 3 elections ago, there was this level of influence from the third party. Would you agree that even though maybe 10 elections ago, it was up here, that we went from here in the last 5 years, and now like RFK and people like that are, doing the damn thing. Yeah, what do you think? Shout out to Guam Tech with the 5 gifted memberships. Thank you so very, very much. And guys, if you were gifted a membership, make sure you join that Discord server. It is absolutely free to join for everybody. But if you, make sure we get them on camera. If you are a member of this channel, then you get full access to the Discord server, which includes the after party. I am live every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern down in the studio. And when we're done with that, then we go over and we party even more, talking about everything. We are in there 24/7 hanging out, and the after party is just an opportunity for you guys to be on screen with me. You're not stuck behind your keyboard. And then you also have like I said, the opportunity to meet a lot of people and get into this kind of stuff. And exactly, remember, join us if you got a gifted memberships member for 12 months. And I've now realized these are not donations, but I don't care. I want to appreciate you. Morty, go and get it here. Go and get another one. Yummy, yummy, yummy. There you go. Thank you so much. And yes, congratulations if you were gifted a membership. Make sure you come through and get all your goodies. So James Quinn said, over the last 30 years, third parties no longer have influence in party politics. So, okay, would you, so I asked if we see that trend reversing, because Private Hamarami asked me about a third party candidate. So would you then say that RFK is an anomaly like Ross Perot? Or what does he say here? RFK has no influence on either platform of thought, except that he does. He was just on stage with Trump, and so that's something. That's definitely more than any third-party candidate I've ever heard of. Nick says, I think you're right, especially with the two parties just getting more and more extreme. They will learn to open their minds, or they will die in their dogma. Hell yes. I agree. I think as we just, like, if you think about the space, so if we have left and right here, he's licking me, give me kisses. Oh, thank you, buddy. If we have left and right here, well, there's not a lot of space in between. But as like Nick said, as they get more and more and more extreme, this is not centered, so I'm trying to keep it on screen. As they get more and more and more extreme, there's just a lot more stuff in here. There's a lot more people who don't stand here or here. So I mean, that's why I'm saying it stands to reason that the interest in third parties is going to go up. So James says, Perot calls Republicans to adopt an America First platform in trade. Based. The Green Party calls the Dems to adopt green earth policies. Not based. And both parties have rated from third-party ideas. Okay. It's numbers and causality, not hope. I don't know what you mean, because I agree with you that they do, take the ideas and then make them their own. But my point is, the moral of those ideas that come from these candidates, especially in the internet age, when we know that, talk about vaccine stuff that's going to be on the left is going to be people who were listening to RFK. And so I think that influence does lead to a reason why people would want to look for other options than R or D. But I mean, I don't know. I definitely don't know for sure. Just my speculation. But getting back to the movie, I really, going back to Nick's question about will people be able to see this despite the fact that it's Matt Walsh? Well, there was one seminar that he went to, and the people there were not very inclusive of Matt. But I think that more people will see Am I Racist than will have seen either Lady Ballers or What is a Woman, and maybe even more people will see Am I Racist than Lady Ballers and What is a Woman combined. I don't think it's going to be as impactful as What is a Woman, just because, again, when you can distill your point down to a single question, what is a woman? And you can't answer it. That is so powerful that I don't know if you could do that twice. So it's not really that. And so if you have to have seen the movie Am I Racist to really get what the point is, whereas you don't have to have seen What is a Woman to see someone be asked what is a woman and then not be able to answer that, and you be, oh, that's odd. So I don't know that it's going to be that impactful for each person, but I think it's going to appeal to more people, or at least be palatable to more people. So hopefully, it balances out. So James says, I mean, I get what you're saying about third parties. It's numbers. They don't measure anywhere. You can't say it's going to be. You'll be just as wrong as the 1960s prediction about third parties. Well, I'll tell you something, James. I can do whatever. I can say whatever I want to say, and I absolutely will speculate about the future. I think it's silly to just say, because we don't know the future. Of course, I don't have a crystal ball, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to think about the future. And speculating on the future allows us to prepare for that future. Lonzag said, RFK is the boomers' Democrat. Absolutely. I'd say he has influenced a lot of people who aren't conservative to reconsider their vote. I agree. Absolutely. And that's what he sat on the computer. Bro, why are you sitting on the computer? Move your big fat butt. Yeah, I agree. I think it's incremental, but I see if we look at Gary Johnson, I think it was Gary Johnson in 2016, right? And then Jill Stein kind of made waves in 2020, and now we're talking about RFK. But either way, between those three, I think there's more. I think that is a trend that will continue. I think that is a trend that will continue. Maybe I'm wrong, but we will see. Zippy said, James is not wrong. The uniparty cannibalizes third parties, taking the wind out of their sails, but never follow through. It's up to the people to keep parties to task. But, I mean, Trump definitely is a boomer Democrat. That's why they get along so well. But that's a fair point. That's a fair point. But how can we say that the Republican, the not only a former Republican president, but the front runner for the Republican Party going to the LNC, again, I'm not saying go vote Chase Oliver. I'm not saying go vote for the Libertarian Party. But the concept of the idea, a lot more normies are going to be aware of Chase Oliver simply because of the fact that Trump went to that event. And so, again, I'm not saying that means, we're going to have a third party president in 5 years, but the private originally asked me over 150 years. So I think it's a safe bet. Private says, to me, what is a woman or what is a man doesn't really matter. I've lived my whole life through with my mate who transitioned, and he's always just been my guy. Like, why do people care so much? And so this is. Can I make a guess that you did not watch the movie What is a Woman, Private Hammurabi? And I mean, they're not caring about the fact that people are doing this. It's where it's leading. It's the effects. It's the women in sports, the children in schools, the sex education. It's all that kind of stuff. In terms of whether you treat somebody who is a trans person differently, yeah, sure, there's going to be bigoted people, but I also yeah. So that is why I think you would benefit from finding the answer to the question by watching that movie. And I don't know if you'd like it or love it or hate it, but it addresses it in a non-joking manner. It is meant to be entertaining to those of us on this side of the issue, but it absolutely addresses the issue. We got Carl's Frosted Tips in the building. Welcome. Oh, that's the one you wanted. What's up, Mom? Good to see you. But yeah, it's not a matter of, oh, I don't want people to trans themselves. I don't care. If you want to transition, go transition. Not only do I not care, but I am happy. I am happy that we live in a society where if you want to do something that I find very outrageous, but you're not hurting anybody, you get to do that. I'm happy that you get to chop off your dick. I'm happy that you're able to do that. What I'm not happy about is the political and cultural push for this to become have moral weight. That it's good that you transition, or it's bad that you don't transition, or vice versa. That's what I don't like. And again, if you watch What Is a Woman, the most well, actually, let's see if we can find this. If you give me a second, because I did cover the entire thing on my channel. And boom, this is what I was looking for. This is what I'm looking for. Got him. Check this out. Check this out. And it'll again answer exactly why you say, well, why do people care? This is why people care. This is just a clip from the full stream, but I did do the entire
children's hospitals in the United States promoting that. That's a phalloplasty. That's a bottom surgery.
The old intro. That's how long these movies do. All right. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of I Drive B Reacts. I am Lutz, your host, and today we are going to be all right. I want to actually give a legit ass trigger warning, because where this goes next gets fucking dark. It gets fucking dark. I am warning you now. There we go.
I never fit. I was an alpha female, a sales executive that kind of just didn't fit in any box. When psychologists or somebody that I was in love with or whatever said that I was in the wrong.
So let's take a look at that. This is who we're talking about here.
Body, I started to think, well, maybe I am. I'm a biologist.
This is, I'm just trying to get the best spot. Scott Nugent, formerly known as Kelly, founder of Trey Voices.
A woman that medically transitioned to appear like a male through synthetic hormones and surgery.
King, what do you think? What do you think? Of course you're not racist for wanting your coffee black because you have a black waitress.
A woman that medically transitioned to appear like a male through synthetic hormones and surgery. I will never be a man. Is it transphobic for me to tell the truth? Why is it that a couple hundred years from now, if you dug up my body, they're gonna go, yeah, that was a woman.
What was that you brought up earlier, Paul, about Bones? Yeah.
It's a callback.
Had babies.
Can you tell me about
this is a mother of four.
The procedures that you had?
I've had 7 surgeries. I've had 1 stress heart attack. I've had a helicopter life ride with pulmonary embolism. I've had 17 rounds of antibiotics. I had 6 inches of hair on the inside of my urethra.
Do I need to run that back?
No, please don't.
Oh, we are going to.
Is it transphobic for me to tell the truth? Why is it that a couple hundred years from now, if you dug up my body, they're gonna go, yeah, that was a woman. Had babies.
Can you tell me about the procedures that you had?
You missed it the first time. I want to warn you. Kluk says, detransition stories are literally self-mutilation stories with no reversibility. Why would anyone want to do that? I mean, again, if it is something that fits, we need to. Hey, I think you're just feel it might have.
So he has such a high.
No,
the case.
I've had 7 surgeries. I've had 1 stress heart attack. I've had a helicopter life ride with pulmonary embolism. I've had 17 rounds of antibiotics. I had 6 inches of hair on the inside of my urethra for 17 months. Nobody would help me, including the doctor that did this to me because I lost my insurance. I get infections every 3 to 4 months. I'm probably not going to live very long.
Was there any real discussion of the risks and side?
This fucking broke my heart. Well, okay, that's this is why I paused it in the other thing too. This is the answer to your question. This is the answer to your question. What Scott here is about to say. This fucks man's eyes.
Effects and
no.
Look at the again man's eyes. Any discussion
of the
every 3 to 4 months? I'm probably not going to live very long.
Was there any real discussion of the risks and side
This
Was there any discussion of the risks?
and look at the man's eyes.
effects and
No,
Look at the
it's not.
there we go. Look at the pain in this man's eye. And you want to unilaterally take children and subject them to what might be this.
Yep.
That's what you want. Okay. But we're just,
And it's just I've way become.
I mean, living in Scott.
Kids, they've all been retracted, modified, changed. But the only long-term study tells us 7 to 10 years is when transgender people are the most suicidal.
Wait, what did he just say? Did he just say what I think he said?
Mhm.
Helps mental health with kids. They've all been retracted, modified, changed. But the only long-term study tells us 7 to 10 years is when transgender people are the most suicidal.
So, yeah.
After surgery.
So, if it's 7 to 10 years, and we are talking about children in the last 5 years, then we would expect that in the next couple years to a decade, that the detransition stories are going to explode.
Yeah.
That is why I care. That is why I care. Because I genuinely care about people. And I don't want children. And later it goes on. I'll actually, if you want to watch this clip, I will drop this here in the chat. And then in the description of the video is the full thing. So you don't have to pay anything to watch What is a Woman. The first few scenes, I was like, all right, let me just try to explain what's going on. And then like 10 minutes in, I'm like, fuck it, let's just play it. So you can see the entire thing. And so, so probably, I mean, taking it to children, obvious no, but if you're an adult, I don't really care. Again, agreed, but it doesn't work out that way. And so the way that it's, so a good example would be tattoos. Tattoos is a great example because it's totally fine if you're an adult and you get tattoos. I got my ink. But there's no push from the tattoo community to normalize children getting tattoos. If there was, I would have exactly as much issue. Maybe not exactly as much because a bad tattoo is bad, but it's not as bad as chopping your dick off, having them invert it, and then you can't stop the hair from growing, and you get infections, and all of this costs money, and they don't tell you about any of this stuff before you do it. There's so many reports of 30 minutes, not even the full hour. You go into a clinic, and 30 minutes later, they're telling people under the age of 18 without parental consent, giving them prescriptions for hormone therapy. That is why I care about it. James Quinn said, who are you to tell any parent how to parent their kids? It's a flipped conservative argument. Is it though? Because if you were starving a child, like not feeding them, would you have an issue with the government saying that's not okay? You can't do that to children. I'm the parent, right? I can starve my kid if I want to. No, there are certain things that you can't do. If you're beating the shit out of your child, who am I to tell that person that they can't parent their children the way they want to? I'm an American who has morals and values. So what if there was a new trend? Instead of trans, it was the Cyclops trend, and everyone just pops their eye out. And parents are allowing these kids to go to clinics, or not even take the parents out of it, because again, I didn't bring up, but even if we do that, so would you be okay with a parent going to a doctor? Let's assume the doctor. Let's say the parent is a doctor. So your parent's a doctor, and we're putting to the side the conflict of interest. Just the procedure itself. Would you have a problem with a doctor plucking the eye out of their child because their child said, I feel like a Cyclops? Of course not. Shout out to NR. Welcome to the party. Said, yeah, you think it's moral to indoctrinate kids and have them sterilized and cut off their genitals. Yeah, no, it can't work that way. It cannot work that way. But welcome to the party. So Private said, see, this is where my problem lies. There's tons of it in the US, but that's not a problem in my environment. Like here in Luxembourg, for example, Mention Bait is the only trans person I've ever seen. Yeah, and that is exactly the point. That is exactly the point. I'm a professional dog trainer, and I started out working at a Petco, and one of my coworkers, the other dog trainer, was a trans man, born as a woman, but by all appearances, looked like a dude, act like a dude, sound like a dude, and so there was never any reason or desire for me to misgender this person or act like you're really like it was just some dude I worked with. That's absolutely not the issue. The issue is exactly what Nick is talking about. When Jazz Jennings was having her surgeries, the doctors were admitting the surgery is completely experimental and has no protocol for how it will be performed, just an experiment. And that's not okay. That's not okay with me. Maybe that's okay with any of you, but personally, I don't think that is okay. King said, we all used to know this, and that's how you know there's a giant push for what is wrong. Exactly. Conspiracy Nut said, welcome to the party. Said, until guns are controlled so that our children are safe in schools, your high horse, the swamp. What? Try again. NR said, I heard a story that the original twins this was tested on was always described as an experiment and ended as a failed one at that. Yep. Those are the, it was John Money. I don't remember the names of the twins, but again, if you go back and watch What is a Woman, which I covered in full, you will be able to see that. Let's see. Here we are. So the whole thing for you. The whole thing. Now, of course, as you can see, I like to talk a lot. So there's going to be lots of pauses. But if you just want to, skip through my commentary and just watch the entire movie, boom, the link is there. What we got? Matthew said, if it was still as rare and not being pushed to our kids, it would still be a nothing burger. Bingo. Shout out to Blue Idiots. Welcome to the party. It said it appears we are in dire need of Project 2025. Well, just like Trump, I still have not read. Well, I read some of it, but I have not read through it. So I'm down with Agenda 47. That works for me. I mean, again, I am sure that there's some things. If we would compare Agenda 47 and Project 2025, for me personally, I'd be like, I would probably look at some things in Agenda 47, which is Trump's actual plan, and be like, this is too, GOP Rhino Republican for me. And actually, I look, this particular thing in Project 2025 could be better. I could see that, but it's just a left-wing talking point right now. So, but I don't disagree. Welcome to the party. And R said the kids are probably bringing guns to school because all the same problems they're being indoctrinated with bullshit. That definitely would have an effect. I mean, think about how difficult it is for us adults to keep this stuff straight. Even just now, I'm talking about this guy that I worked with, and I'm like, okay, so it's a trans. So, like, think about if you had to constantly be doing calculations of like, is this person this or that or that or that, instead of just treating people like people. It's got to be a burden. And I'm not saying it's okay to, pew up at school, but goddamn, these kids are going through it. Private is it Harumi, right? Harumi said, technically, I have been exposed to a trans person as a child, though, through Bruce Jenner, the Bruce Jenner gag on Family Guy. Yeah, that was a lot of our first introductions to like, wait, somebody like that we know is doing this. Yeah, that was wow. James said, you were a scared child getting beaten by a drunken dad with a. What the hell did I miss? I don't even want to know. Shout out to Roy Marshall all the way over from London. Cheers, mate. Said, I hope you're well. I am well. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Sir, welcome to the party. Yeah, does anybody have any other questions about the movie specifically? I know you guys. I don't even want to know. I just keep it over there. Keep it over there. No, you guys are good. I'm just messing with you. Yeah, if you guys have any other questions about the movie, I'll just go. If you're just joining us, I'll kind of kind of recap what I said, and then we gonna call it at night. Yeah, I think Am I Racist is a fantastic movie. It is not the most entertaining movie ever. It was really funny, but it wasn't a comedy. It was a documentary that was very seriously to. Hey, the stream has 666 views. There we go. So it was a serious endeavor on a very silly idea of anti-racism and systemic racism and all that. Shout out to Kern. Welcome to the party. So not a Matt Walsh fan at all, but but him going incognito and trolling the priests of the CRT Cathedral was peak. Hell yeah. Roy, did I welcome you, Roy? I did welcome you, Roy. You get a double welcome. Welcome to the party. How funny out of 10? I'd say strong 7. Strong 7. There are some slower moments, and the parts that are funny are like knee slapper funny. And there's a lot of them, but it's not a comedy. It's not a comedy. So I'll say a strong 7 out of 10, despite the fact that it's not a comedy. It is a documentary, and it is obviously a lighthearted documentary. But the point of the point that Matt set out to do was absolutely done very well, and it demonstrated exactly what needs to be demonstrated because people are going insane. Shout out to Snowflake's Nightmares. You had absolutely gorgeous eyes. Thank you. I never usually get that. The dark browns are basically black. I don't get that too often. Thank you. Welcome to the party. So where were we? Yeah, so definitely strong 7 out of 10 on the funny, but I would give this a 9.5 out of 10 overall. 9.5 out of 10. It's not perfect. Tomorrow I'll have a better idea of why it's not perfect. Because again, I'm going to see it with my dad, Papa Lutch, tomorrow morning. And then when I get home, we're going to be doing I don't know if you've seen the Charlie Kirk Jubilee thing where he's debating 20 things. We'll go through that whole thing. So what does Guamtech say? Take out the back door from Marxism in trans ideology and leave the kids out of it, and nobody would have a problem with anybody being trans. Exactly. Are there any minds changed by Matt Walsh in the movie at all? I think if you are genuinely, not politically involved, obviously I'm biased because I am, but I genuinely think that if people see this, they will be a lot more willing to question the notion of something being called racist in mass. And so even if that is only a little bit, I think moving that forward of people being like, okay, just because you say it's racist doesn't mean it's racist. I think that is very important. And so yes, I think it will change minds. Nick said, was it more like a documentary than a movie, meaning fiction versus nonfiction? Yes. Yeah, it is a documentary. It's a documentary. It starts out, it has a little thing to kind of introduce what's going on. And then it's just him, like, that like Matt's going to go on his anti-racist journey, but it's a documentation of that process. And no jokes about it. A shout out to James Quinn. Welcome. Mixing up my sound. See, this is what happens when I don't have my soundboard. Catch me live every Monday, Wednesday, Friday for the soundboard. But thank you, James Quinn, for the $2 super chat. No need to be quiet. No need to be quiet. The chat is for chatting, and we appreciate it. Thank you. And Morty definitely loves it. I was only messing with you. Yeah, you guys have your own conversations. Do your thing. Thank you again very, very much. We got Hood Lizard in the building. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the party. So it looks like the channel is doing good. It's can't complain. Can't complain. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Oh, it's good to see you. Kerm said, should hopefully get rid of the remaining midwits and say CRT is just teaching history. Yes, that's the kind of stuff. The people that think that because they've been told that. I think those kind of people are going to just kind of, not like mea culpa. Oh, I was wrong about everything. They're just going to kind of, let off the gas about backing up ideas of, racism is everywhere and all that kind of stuff. Snowflake's Nightmare said they use those tropes to shut you up. They don't want people thinking. They don't want people thinking what they want. Good little drones that follow and do what they're told. Exactly. On point. And so I assume if you're on this channel, especially if you're new, welcome. I am your host, Lutch, aka TheIndianJesus, with my little co-host Morty here. But if you're on this side of YouTube, I'm sure that you're more familiar with the culture war aspect of the racism issue than the average person. But if you, again, even if you're not, I think this is a really good introduction to somebody who is like, I haven't really been paying attention to politics, and a lot of people are talking about race over the last 10 years. Maybe I should check out what's going on. I think it really does. It would be a good entry level because it is literally talking to both the people at the top, PhDs and Robin DiAngelo herself, and then also just talking to random people. I think it was like West Virginia or something. I don't even know if they said it, but some random town. You go in and he's on his journey, and he's like, I've been on my anti-racist journey. He goes to a small bar in some southern town and asking some dude who has 3 teeth, like, how do you deconstruct your whiteness? I'm like, what are you talking about? I just love people. That kind of stuff. Private said, what do you think about gun laws in the U.S.? Should there be more general system instead of state-based? No, I like the idea that because the states are very different, and so I think let's put so 2 reasons. So I think if we were going to go to a federal thing, federal rules on guns, then they would be a lot more restrictive to account for more urban areas, more violent areas. So a state like Wyoming, where it's just farmland and like 1,500 people in the whole goddamn state, then it doesn't make sense for them to have the same rules as people in New York City. So I'm when I start, like I said, I haven't been into politics for too long. This has been about 10 years now, but before that, I was always very anti-gun. I grew up in New Jersey, and so we just didn't have guns around. And so I was always just default liberal, not comfortable with them. But once I, started actually paying attention to stuff and learning things, then, I was able to realize, like, oh, okay, there is a reason why we have the Second Amendment. There is a reason why guns are a good thing. And just because people die by guns doesn't mean we should ban guns, because people die by cars a lot more than they do by guns, and we certainly don't ban those. So now I think one of the beauties of the United States is us being able to have the states kind of what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know. Make it best for them. I lost the articulation there, but you get what I mean. Zippy said 2A is absolute. No gun law is the only legal option. That's the other thing. So exactly. So theoretically, there should be absolutely no gun laws, except the one that says there can be no laws against you having guns. That's how it should be. I understand that in 2024, if we were to just get rid of all the regulations in, places like New York and California, Detroit, Chicago, stuff like that, then it probably wouldn't go well. But the fact of the matter is, 2A is absolute. The Second Amendment says shall not be infringed. Government wants gun laws, they have to amend the Constitution. Yep. And Funkmaster said, yeah, what Zippy said. So James said, so close state borders and lock the minorities in? What? I'm gonna guess that's for Zippy. Private said also, the gun laws in California are horrendous, as people say. Or are they as horrendous? So I'll ask Nick as a I'm not gonna dox your entire thing, but as a California resident, what do you think? Are the gun laws in California as bad as people say? I can definitely tell you in New Jersey, they are, which is a blue state, but we're right here. I live like 45 minutes away from New York City. I live about an hour away from Philadelphia. So, it's especially Central Jersey is very liberal. But they're bad. Like kind of things like if you have a medical marijuana card, you can't get guns, and that's no bueno. So James said, how about no poison laws or no car laws? Well, definitely don't want those. But the difference is that there's not an article in the Constitution, as it be said, about poison or cars. So it's a legal matter at that point. If you want to say that it's better that we ban guns, that's an argument that you can make. But morally or practically. But then it still falls back to, well, the Constitution says shall not be infringed. So when it comes to cars or poison or knives or anything else, then yes, theoretically we can have discussions about it, but we already have a rule in place. Hey, shout out to Indie Film. Welcome to the party. How far behind am I? 2 minutes. Okay, we good. I'm trying to get better with the vertical streams. There's a lot more people. I'm trying to keep up with the chat. If you think I'm doing a good job, guys, please do me a huge favor. Just double tap that screen and hit the like button for me. That helps so much. Thank you. Indie Film said, did you at least have BB guns? We used to have BB gun fights and fireworks wars. With that and a million other dangerous things. I'm really surprised I lived through childhood. Nope. They just made fireworks legal in Jersey a few years ago. That's why Morty's so terrified of him, because he never grew up. Like when I got him, I was living in a frat house. I was not in the frat. It was unofficial. I'm not in a frat. But it was a frat house. We were bumping dubstep and heavy bass music all the time. And he's fine with that. I remember the first night where he was laying with me. Halloween 2010. That was the first night I had him, and I was smoking. And when I coughed, he was like, what the hell's going on? And now you couldn't wake him up with me coughing. There is no way. The laws are worse than what you hear. I'm not surprised. As we said, we already have a law on crime: assault, fraud, coercion, theft, hunting. Yeah, teach and train the people to protect themselves. Well said, sir. Kern said, whenever I see some Brit bonger going on about how U.S. has crazy gun laws are because guns only hurt people, just ask them how they would feel about banning all alcohol and watch them squirm. Good point. But even their issue in the, specifically talking about, did you say the UK? Yeah, specifically in the UK, they have knife issues. It's like, you're going to ban knives? Like, how am I supposed to eat steak? The fact is that violence is inherent to humanity. You can't legislate that away. And again, criminals are the ones that don't follow the laws. So if we're banning the guns, all you're doing is giving more power to the government and the criminal. If the criminals or the government are going to have guns anyway, doesn't it make sense that the good people do too? I agree with Gomtech here. An armed society is a polite society. There's definitely nuance, but I mean, You know? Yeah. You ain't gotta tell me Jersey is bad. That's I bought this place a couple years ago. But when this pops off, when I'm at the place where I can quit my day job, I can do this full time, and I can start my pop culture channel, and then I start making money, I'm gonna move to like Arizona or Nevada or something there where there's warm weather, legal weed, and constitutional carry. Let's go. It is bad. It is unconstitutional. Why can Raytheon and Lockheed Martin have automatic weapons, but I can't? They can have nukes. Why can they have nukes, but I can't? And then again, some people will talk about the idea of, the founding fathers didn't have a concept of nuclear war, maybe, but they definitely had ideas of weapons of war and what they would consider mass destruction with cannons and stuff. And they said, yeah, cannons, that applies, or the Second Amendment applies to that. You don't have to close state borders, not at all. It's just so like let's say I go to. I'm pretty sure that Pennsylvania in laws are less restrictive than New Jersey, and they share a border. So if I live in Pennsylvania and I have a gun, then if I don't have to be kept out of New Jersey. I just have to not bring my gun across the state lines, and then if there was a situation, then again, I'm not a gun guy, so I don't know exactly how this works, but I'm pretty sure that you could call ahead and be like, hey, I just want you guys to know. I don't know exactly how that works, but James said, has the Constitution ever had changes or additional amendments? I don't know, ever. Yeah, I believe there's 22 of them? They're called amendments. All the time. Yep, Buckmaster said there is nothing in the Second Amendment about automatics, so they should be legal. And again, if the criminals and the governments are going to have these weapons either way, what sense does it make to only have the good people or potentially good people can't have those guns? That don't make no sense. Zippy said poison already dealt with in laws dealing with assault and harming others. As far as laws on cars, we ignore them so any fool can drive. Hence why the mandatory insurance. The cronies need your money. Yep. All right. I'm gonna jump ahead a little bit here and see what I missed. I'm falling behind a little bit. So Kern said the alcohol example is a bit better to me because it's strongly ingrained in UK's culture, just like guns are strongly ingrained in all our culture. Yeah, I agree. I like it as a rhetorical demonstration. I think it hits the point better than the knives. I agree with you. Massey said they're already way too regulated. They should be way easier to obtain. Yep. Nick said I would trust the Indian Jesus with a gun before any government employee. Dilly. Exactly, James. That's why good people need to get more powerful, cheaper, and guns, because cheaper and more powerful guns are more available. He said people got together and built warships to help the army. Yep. Yeah, so exactly. And so it's not that you close the border. It's just that you can't, the same way that recreational weed is illegal in New Jersey. But if I go to, I don't know, some surrounding states, Massachusetts, I think it's still illegal. Like, they don't have to close off the border because we have stuff here that's illegal there. I just can't bring that stuff across state lines. I can't bring that into where it's illegal. Shout out to Arrow. Welcome. Said totally racist asshole because race is a societal construct. Alrighty then. Quantex said, I'm honestly surprised that there aren't gun holsters and even safety locks on guns to read someone's biometrics and only work for them. I think there's issues with the utility of that. I see exactly what you mean, but from what I've heard, and again, very, very limited understanding, I think the problem is that, like a car, like it would be great for car theft if only you could drive your car. But what happens if you break your leg and your wife needs to drive the car, or your friend needs? You know what I mean? So I don't know. Don't know. Nick said it's a bad argument because the founding fathers of this country were using the most advanced weaponry of their day. It's not a valid argument. Yeah, as much as things have improved or gone further, the conceptual aspect of, wow, this can do a lot of damage. The governments can have them, and people will have these things regardless of what the law is. And so to empower the people will make this illegal so that they can keep up with the government. They can keep up with the criminals who are trying to hurt. Private Harumi said, I don't like when people apply our European standard on U.S. criminals. Selling weapons here is literally not a thing in Luxembourg. We have like 0.32 gun deaths by 100,000 people. Wow. Well, yeah, I mean, so when you say I don't like when people apply our European standards, what exactly do you mean? That's it. Yeah, this is every gun control argument comes down to this. Every gun control argument comes down to this. Fuck the hardworking man. He can't defend himself. Only the criminals and the government can. That's exactly on point. Are you talking about me? Or are you saying like the Messiah? I don't know which one, but either way, I'm around. Kerm said an armed populace. Also, let me just check. Oh, we good. I'm keeping up with the chat. Let's go. We almost 850 views. Yo, you guys are on point. Thank you so much for liking the video, guys. Really, that helps so much. We got 15 people and 21 likes. You guys are awesome. So Kerm said an armed populace also keeps the government from getting too rowdy. Not to the point of full rebellion, but it makes enforcing draconian laws a nightmare for the government. Yeah, they all want to cry about January 6th. What do you think would happen if the right half of the country legitimately wanted to take over the government? It would happen. It would happen. But that's not what they wanted. That's not what it was. But it's good to keep, checks and balances. James said, I'm also not anti-gun or anti-2A. I just keep hearing arguments not backed by anything but hoping and pleading. Can you give me an example? Kerm said, for reference, look at the pandemic with the U.S. versus the rest of the West, especially in Canada. Great point. Yeah, going back to the government getting too rowdy. Like, I remember a video from Australia where they had you in some camp. It was literally an internment camp. Like, they obviously weren't killing you, but you were interned in a camp. You couldn't leave. And then they had two residences, and then a yellow line, and you literally could not go off the porch. Like, hey, yo, what? And that is what guns do for Americans. The free speech is really what it's about. But as Vivek Ramaswamy says, I don't know if he's stealing that from somewhere, but like Vivek says, it's the Second Amendment that gives the First Amendment any teeth. And yeah, isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy how young these people were? Like, of course, 200, 300 years ago, your lifespan was shorter, and what you had to do was different. So that's why I talk about that. This is why I'm okay with raising the age of adulthood in general. I'm not even just talking about voting. Raise the age to 25. You can't drive. You can't drink. You can't sign up for the army. You can't. Well, no, actually, I think we need. That's the problem. That's the problem, right? Is that we need young people in the army, and once you or the military. And once you're in the military, then we can't say you can't do this. But we already have that for 18 and 21. So fine, 18 in the military, 18 to shoot a gun. but 25 to drink, 25 to drive, 25, all that stuff. An 18-year-old in 2024 and an 18-year-old in 1924, not the same thing. Not the same thing. I said I'm pissed because people compare extremely low crime rate with the U.S., the country with 120 guns per 100 people. In the U.S., criminals can get guns easily. Here they can't. So one just saying just do the same doesn't make sense. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, agreed. What is Alice Springs, or who is Alice Springs? I don't know who or what that is. Arrow said, we think they're old because of Ben Franklin and George Washington are our currency. They were men with baby boys with big swinging dongs. Yeah, like think of your average 23-year-old. Not even just like doing a job well, making a nation that happens to be the best nation ever. Like, come on. Shout out to Liberty Twitcher. Welcome to the party. Making a good point. Young people ain't into the military anymore. They're too snowflakey. But you know, I mean, heaven forbid we do need a draft. Then I'm too old for that shit. If we make it 25, then they gonna go to 35, and I'm only 34, so I'm good. But yeah, exactly. You're spot on. James said, yes, all the pro-gun arguments are recycled half arguments. Let's actually talk about murder and home defense, or the numbers on Wyoming murders versus successful home defense among gun owners. I mean, hey, if you wanna like do that for real, we could definitely do that. You got your membership? Join the Discord. So, Nick, if you could drop the link one more time. I know you've been doing great with dropping it. But James, seriously, join the Discord. I'm absolutely open to having this conversation with you as a full stream. Obviously, we're not going to be able to get into it with you in the chat, and this is more about the movie and stuff. But yeah, hit me up. I would be very interested, because I am relatively new to the acceptance of guns in general and 2A. But I think I am confident in the sense like, oh, I was wrong before and now I'm a lot more right. But I definitely could be wrong. So yeah, hit me up. Fat betas. You know, I mean, okay, well, I don't want to fight. I mean, I don't know if that's girly. Maybe it's a girly, but Bobby, are you sure? Welcome to the party, sir. Are you sure you want to put that out on the internet? Maybe that's something you want to keep on the DL. So yes, okay, let's do this. Let's do a recap of what we're talking about, and then get the book out of here. Because if you did come here for the spoiler review, Am I Racist movie review, then there's a lot of other discussion here. So that is what I do. What I am doing. I just got home from seeing Am I Racist, the Matt Walsh Daily Wire movie that is in theaters. It is really, 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 really well done. And it's very funny, but it's not a comedy. And so the laughs are earned. It's not like Lady Ballers, where it's meant to dunk on the libs. It's a serious endeavor of, I want to essentially answer the question, am I racist, according to these types of people. And he does a great job of playing the role of just, I'm just a curious guy going on my journey to do the work and all that stuff. And then by the end, he takes all of that and pulls it together in a poignant way to show that this is ridiculous. The anti-racism stuff, the DEI stuff, all the hyper focusing on race is ridiculous. Not only is it ridiculous, but it's counterintuitive to improving race relations in this country or in general. And so I think this is the type of thing that not only should you see it, but you should go out and spend your money on it. I would love if the Daily Wire was paying me to tell you to give them money. But I've now bought 3 tickets to this movie. 1 for me today, and 2 for me and Papa Watch tomorrow. And I am very, very happy about it. This is the type of thing that we want to show, because what the world runs on money, guys. It's all about money. It's all about money. So if we can show that there is interest in this type of content, this type of movie, this type of ideation in media, then it can be huge to change the culture and continue the turning of the ship. Remember, like being anti-woke, that's so 2020. Being anti-woke is cringe. Wokeness has lost. It's still there. I mean, there's still instances where we got to call out, but wokeness as a whole, nobody about that shit anymore. We have to move on. And I think this is a great way to jump off and finally tackle, hey, we need to go back to the 90s colorblindness. And even though I acknowledge and accept that some people think that colorblindness is not the end of fixing race, I am totally, totally fine with that. But we have that was where we went off the rails. And what I mean by that is, okay, maybe colorblindness, well, I don't see race. Maybe that's not the best way. Because again, we all do have different experiences. If you're a black person, you're going to have different types of experiences than white people, Hispanic people, Indian people, so on and so forth. And so these people want to get to a place where you're not treated badly because of those differences, but also people are aware of those differences so that they can make you feel better or whatever. That is what these people want. And the movie has shown, maybe not unequivocally, but made a very, very strong case that what they're doing is making it way, way, way worse. We definitely need some aliens to hate. I agree with you. I agree with you. So again, James, I would love to continue I would love to not only hear y'all's conversation about the gun stuff, but if you haven't joined the Discord, I'm gonna drop the link again. Please come and hang out with us. It is 24/7. We are in there hanging out. There's awesome people, and it's not it's not an echo chamber. We have I'm an atheist. A lot of people in there are Christian. We have liberals. We have more people who are further to all different kinds of people. But the beauty of it is that we come together not because we agree on the positions, but because we agree on the way that you should talk about those positions. If we disagree on this, that, and that, that's cool. We can still be friends as long as we address it in the right way. And I really, really want to get to more. So I'm actually gonna dive into this a little bit because I do want to see what y'all are saying. So where are we at? So I think I missed this one. Private said I had an incident where I needed the police, and it took 15 minutes for them to pick up the phone. 35 for them to show up. And that time, the most horrific, vile shit could have happened. I'm pro-gun. All the way from Luxembourg. Exactly. When seconds, what's the saying? When seconds counts, cops are minutes away. Okay, good. So okay, what did Kerm say? So Kerm said to James, there's a variable you're completely forgetting. The sheer presence of the home you're invading, being a gun owner's home, will make you think twice about invading in the first place. Agreed, but James doesn't agree. So you're saying that it wouldn't give you pause or any more reason to hesitate. Or let's say there's 2 houses and they're identical, and one is a gun owner and one is not. You're not going to choose the non-gun owner? James goes on to say, if only criminals stop to check the size of your pecker before invading your home. Well, that's exactly the point. They don't check. And so not knowing that, I just break into this house could be the end of my life is in and itself a, what's the word I'm looking for? A deterrence. It's a deterrent that you don't know. I'm not checking. Random people might just have guns. I don't know. This guy might be, a sharpshooter. I don't know. That's why I'm not going to break into his home. So that doesn't mean that people aren't going to break in, but it means that for all the break-ins that we have, there would have been more for all the people who were not sure about whether there was or actually stopped to think, there might be a gun here. This is a fantastic point, Nick. Fantastic point. And the media doesn't tell us about it. There are millions of self-defense uses of guns in America every year. Far more than the number of murders with all weapons combined. Absolutely. They say the number, it's hard to calculate that, but they say it could be up to 3 to 5 million instances of lives saved with a good guy with a gun. Now, obviously, because you don't have the counterfactual, you don't know if that person technically would have died if they got shot. It's hard to calculate, but that is a very, very big thing. It says racism doesn't exist in America anymore, just prejudice and ignorance. I'll disagree, but I kind of get what you're saying. But like, when Ann Coulter is going to say, I like what you say, but I won't vote for you because you're Indian. Yes, that's prejudice and ignorance, but it's also racism. So James said to Nick, I've studied this and you are missing 1,000 other gun variables and millions shows you weren't smart when you started talking. What? In most cases, the use of a gun for self-defense, no shots need to be fired. Again, which is why it is difficult to get clear numbers. So Kerm jumps in and said, James, that's straight BS. Unless you're completely insane, the possibility of you being shot upon entering the home will de-incentivize you from trying to break in. Which, again, does not mean that no people will break in. It just means that less will. So James says, and gun accidents, self-deletions, etc., all rely on the presence of a gun in the home, and you are pleading your case without a reality. Except the numbers spike when there is a gun in the home. So you're moving the goalposts. Are we talking about self-defense? Or are we talking about anything that can happen? Because first we were talking about burglars and the deterrence of going into a home because of the potential existence of a gun. That's a very different conversation than the number of deaths that we have from accidents and self-deletions. And of course, the numbers spike when there's a gun in the home. You know what else spikes? The number of car accidents when you have a car in the home. So what's your point there? Arrow said, Jesus, do you own a firearm? I have never even shot a firearm. That is what Jersey is like. I've never even shot one. I've held 2 guns because I had a client a couple years ago where I told him I'd never held a gun before. He's like, bro, you got to hold it. And so I held it for the first time, but I've only held 2 different guns and I've never shot one. I want so bad. I was trying to get Papa Lutch to go for either my birthday or his birthday last year. It's like, yeah, we're like, hey, I used to be the never Trumper. You were the Republican. I was the liberal. But now we're on the same side. Why are we not going to the shooting range every goddamn week? Like the golf cave, no, it's not virtual reality. They have like a screen, and you actually hit the ball. And it goes on the screen. It tracks how far you hit and all that stuff. Golf cave is fun, but I want to go to the shooting range. So Kern then says to James, what gun deaths increase when guns are present? Oh, what? Gun deaths increase when guns are present? No shit, Sherlock. I'm sure sword deaths were more common when those were more commonplace. Exactly. So Private says, when you break in somewhere, it's not me putting my belongings over your life. You're putting my stuff over your life. Don't blame gun owners for defending themselves. Luxembourg gets it. Luxembourg gets it. James says, we're talking about guns. Gun ownership is more dangerous to anyone living in the home than living in a home without a gun, no matter how many fictional bandits you have to chase off. That, like, statistically, that may be true. But the fact is, on an individual basis, the statistics don't matter. If somebody breaks into my home, the statistics are irrelevant to what I actually do in that situation. And so you have to, again, you can make the same exact argument for cars, but I would guess that you drive a car and you don't have a problem with anybody else driving a car. That infinitely, the chances of you dying or even getting in a car accident are infinitely more just by having the car. But we make that calculation and decide that because I am a good enough driver, that I'm going to take the risk that every time I get on the road, I might die. Just like every day I wake up with a gun in the house, I may die. But statistically, that's the people with no cars are getting in less car accidents than the people who have cars. But that's not really relevant to the issue of why you would have a gun and why you would do that. And so, yes, it is more dangerous, and yet it is still more beneficial to have the dangerous tool than to not have the dangerous tool in case of emergency. And even if the numbers do say that more people would I am talking facts. What facts am I not talking? You want to come up and do this? I was gonna head out. You come on up. Come on up. And like I said, I'm new to. I'm not a gun guy. So if you can't convince me, as a former liberal who's never shot a gun, I don't know what you're talking about. Nick said there's no such things as gun deaths. There are murders with many different things, but those things are in inanimate objects. Can't hurt anyone by themselves. Only bad people hurt people. Exactly. Is a gun accident a murder? No. What? No. That's not where. If your gun accidentally went off and you call the cops immediately, like, oh my god, my gun went off, they would not charge you for murder. I mean, they could try, but that wouldn't work. So no. So I dropped the link. Am I assuming that you're going to not come up and have the conversation and just stick in the chat? And I notice you also haven't joined the Discord. So are you a serious person? Are you serious about this, or are you just wasting my time? Bobby said, I mean, technically, Nick is right. It's the bullet that kills. The gun just sits in your hands, feeling heavy. Nick said, it's a car, accident or murder. Do you see how stupid it sounds? And again, man, the link's right there. The link's right there. Come on up. Come on up. Prove me wrong. They'll be in the chat, but they're gun people. I'm not. Okay. Yeah. Oh no. Okay. So join the Discord. Join the Discord, and when that's over, come hit me up, and we'll have a chat. And I'm I know you do. I like that. I like that you are coming in and having these conversations, but you can't throw things out there and be like, nope, your argument's totally wrong, but I'm not really going to say anything about it. Like that seems like you're just saying things, right? I mean, we have to back up the things that we say. Private said, I can't tell my gun kill, and it kills. Exactly. You got to pull the trigger yourself. It is just a tool, just like a car. Shout out to a little bit of pure gold. Love that name. Welcome to the party. Cheers to that. That's a good name. So we live in a country. We have many bows, knives, and a little bit of TNT. We can blow dynamite at 3 a.m. and the neighbors don't even call the cops. Well, that is, I'm in the suburbs, so that would definitely cause an issue. But that's kind of what I'm looking for. I want to be in a right outside of a suburban area, not right outside an urban. I want a place where everything has a parking lot. There's a Target. There's a Best Buy. There's fast food. There's restaurants. There's bars, but they're 15 minutes away from me. And I drive on the highway and to some quiet place where there's land. That's the dream, baby. That's the dream. Aaron said, you bloody well ought to get your skinny ass to the Tamagotchi? What? Karam said, and sorry, even if I grant you states with looser gun laws have higher murder rates per capita, it's not comparing like for like. You'd have to use the same state if you want a proper control group. True. I thought you were leaving. I thought you were leaving. Are we not? If you're not leaving, come up and it'll take 2 minutes. Make your argument, and you good. Or Bobby said, "Oh man, we've reached the end where we invent voice-activated Glocks." That would be interesting. That would be interesting. Shout out to Steve McRae. Welcome to the party. Popping in to say hello. I want to see this movie. I just don't know when I will. And yeah, as I've been saying, this is totally worth it. It's worth your entertainment for the money. It's also worth the money to show society that this is something that will get people to open their wallets and pay for it. That this is not some toxic thing that, oh my goodness, absolutely worth the money and absolutely worth the social message. Where are we at? James said nothing was thrown, but you're making the gun argument similar to a Christian making the Bible is all real argument. Okay, and again, come and make that argument. We can't do it just in the chat. You keep saying you're leaving, but you're not leaving. So come on up and have the conversation instead of still talking, or let's set up something else. That's the responsibility. When you make claims, you have to back them up. You're not backing them up. You're just saying you're wrong. Okay, fine. I'm willing to accept that I'm wrong, but you have to back up the claim that I'm wrong. 45 minutes outside the closest city. City? Because again, I don't like the whole urban thing where you got to park on the street and pay a thing and walk 7 blocks. Both of my siblings live in city areas. My brother lives in Philly. My sister lives in Jersey City. I can't do that shit. I need my driveway or at least a parking spot, and then everything needs to have its own parking lot. I'm not walking places in the winter. It's Jersey, baby. It gets cold. Not as cold as like Michigan or Alaska or something, but it gets cold. So I need the maximum amount of time being outside of my house in those situations is me walking to my front door, to my car from the parking lot to the front door of wherever I'm going. That is what I need. Steve says it seems to already had a lot of backlash. People from the movie deleting their Twitter accounts. Yeah. So if you remember White Fragility from Robin DiAngelo, Matt actually got an interview with her. And she was all like, well, you got to be careful who you're talking to. And this book, yeah, this woman sat down with Matt Walsh, obviously not knowing that it was him. And so again, I don't want to spoil anything, but there was a moment for her to deconstruct her whiteness after taking the lead on Matt Walsh deconstructing his whiteness. And she called it weird. She said it is weird for you to be wanting to rectify the racism that we all agree is the worst thing ever. Shout out to the best life. Welcome to the party. Said none of my guns ever hurt anything unless maybe you're a deer. Cheers to that. Welcome. Yeah, I think impact is a better word, but yeah, that's how bad she got. She got. And it's just like 360 headshot, bro. It's just done. And I think this is going to be a very pivotal factor in how race relations will improve after this. I am happy about it. A little bit up here. Gold said cities in 50,000, still smaller than OKC or Tulsa. Well, it's not so much the size for me because, to me, Philly and New York City are equally uninhabitable. But again, it's just the fact that like I'm very particular about my stuff. And so I need to have my stuff. Like if you're in the city, then to prepare for a day, and like even little things like, okay, I might need chapstick. I need my kratom. I need my vape. I need my this. I need my that. And like just so then I gotta carry all that stuff on me. No. I have my backpack. I leave it in the car. I go wherever I need to go, and anything that I need is in my backpack. Done. Suburban. Arrow said, God took my old ass into the desert and made me strip naked in order to discharge it. What? I ain't about that. Kerm said, on a completely unrelated note, I finished reading The Righteous Mind recently. First time I've read something for myself in a long time. Yeah, I gotta get back into that. And I've just realized that I've had an Audible account for a while. And I just haven't been using it, so we gonna do it. And yeah, exactly. Definitely gotta stay hydrated. I gotta piss like a mama, which is not ideal, but it's also alcohol, so all right, where are we at? Steve said, tag me one day when you do a panel. I don't really do panels that often, but yeah, I definitely will. So we are going to end here on Nick because I'm about to pee my pants, and I think I've given you guys a good understanding as to why you should definitely go see this movie. Nick said, I wish people would stop blaming guns for what bad people do with them. The argument instructions always comes from, where's it popping up? The argument instructions always comes from the people who know nothing about them and blame them instead of the person. Yep. Agreed. And Steve said he will see this movie. There we go. That was my goal. That was my goal, to convince you guys that this is absolutely worth your time and money. So thank you so much for hanging out with me, guys. I really do appreciate it. I would stick around a little bit longer, but I am literally about to pee my pants. So thank you so very much. Big shout out to the sponsor of the stream, Funkmaster General, and actually we had a co-sponsor with Guam Tech, and a big thank you to James Quinn for the interesting conversation as well as the super chat. Thank you so very much, guys. Once again, I'm your host, Lutch, aka the Indian Jesus, here to resurrect the second coming of common sense. Until next time, guys, I will be live Monday. I'll be live tomorrow as well, but every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, as it says here, every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Until then, I am out of here. Peace.